Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Math CEO activity, a logical puzzle. The goals of this activity are to encourage logical thinking and in particular to get students used to making sort of logical inferences from informal statements. And we also want to discuss representations and strategies for coming up with solutions to these logical puzzles. So here's the basic setup. You're going to start talking about these set of objects. Some of these are occupations like plane pilot or programmer. Some of these are countries like South Korea or Mexico. And some of these are hobbies like boxing, knitting, video games, and so on and so forth. This is really to hook the students into the activity because we're going to be dealing with more tables and logic stuff, which they've seen for a few weeks. So it really pays dividends to engage them with the material by getting them sort of invested in the actual object. So take turns and talk about what they know, what they wonder, what they like. I'm sure they'll be very enthusiastic about discussing some of these things. Okay, now all of these objects are important for the actual activity. What are we doing with them? Well, we're going to do something very similar to what we've done the past few weeks. We have 5 people here: Alan, Kevin, Patricia, Laura, Sandra. And each of them has one of these occupations, one of these hobbies, and they have a country of origin. And our job is to take each of these and match them up with each of these people somehow. Okay, how do we do that? We're going to need some sort of clues. Okay, so you, the mentor, have the 10 clues. And you're going to reveal them one by one. And as you reveal them, you should really maybe have some fun with it. Tell a story. Maybe put on a little voice. These are really written as dialogues, and that's intentional. So sort of read them as dialogues. You don't have to go in order. You don't have to go A, B, C. You can pick them sort of randomly, and read them out one at a time. Once you've read a clue, make sure to discuss it, and sort of you'll have a card. You can place it face down or face up on your table so everyone can see it. Encourage the students to record the clue somehow in a logical way. And don't do all 10 right away. Don't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop after about 5 maybe and see where students are at. See if they can get the puzzle yet with the incomplete information. And if not, give them a few more clues, rinse and repeat. How do you record the actual information of these clues? Well, there's several tables here in the student worksheet that'll help students, get started on recording this information, but really encourage students to think about their own way of representing the clues. When I was solving this puzzle just on my own from nothing, I used several different ways of representing the data because, frankly, these clues, they're pretty complicated. Look at this one. Alan says, I met the mathematician yesterday. Did you? Person from Nigeria. I met the mathematician 2 days ago, together with a man called Kevin. So there's a lot of information to be gleaned from that, namely that Kevin is not a mathematician, neither is Alan, neither is the person from Nigeria. And a lot of that information is really complicated. And so it's going to pay dividends not only to have tables, but other ways of recording this information so they can compile it and come up with the solution. For example, you could do these tables. There's also sort of a larger table where you conglomerate a bunch of things together. I like this one. But again, encourage students to come up with their own representation and sort of play around with it. There's no one right way. Okay, after you've tackled this puzzle for a while, of course we want to fold in the culture. And the drum beat that we've been playing for the past few weeks is stereotypes, right? So we're going to discuss more stereotypes in more depth. And we've talked about it a little bit in the past weeks, but this is an opportunity to reinforce some of those ideas. So really go in detail this week. And you can ask questions like, do you see stereotypes in movies or at school or in the news? Maybe things that have informed some stereotypes about the puzzle that you just played. Can we live a 100% stereotype-free life? Is that possible? I don't know. Discuss it. And a nice way of making this conversation feel real is to share your own story if you're comfortable doing so. So I'll bite the bullet on this one. I'll tell you that a stereotype that is in my head, that has been told to me by society, is that every time I see a Latina person, a Latinx person, I assume they know at least a little bit of Spanish. And that's 100% a stereotype. And I have to remind myself that that is a stereotype and it's not necessarily true. I'm making an assumption about that person that may not hold in reality. So if you're comfortable sharing your own story and your own stereotypes and how you deal with them and how you think about them, that can really enrich the conversation and can spark some deep ideas from your students.